So again, Holy Spirit, it is clear that trust is key to awakening, since we must trust you to lead us from everything we think we know to the remembrance of truth. Since trust is key, doubt can seem to be a major obstacle. Now you guys know how major I mean by that. What can you share that will help us through doubt? Okay, so here's the first answer. Holy Spirit said, first, I would ask you to remember what you want. You are the Son of God. What do you want? Is it the experience of separation, or is it the remembrance and knowledge of truth? Now I'll tell you exactly what Holy Spirit is doing here. I told you that last April, when I finally faced the full brunt of this fear, that somehow either my trust or my remembrance was stronger than the fear, because as I laid there experiencing the full brunt of the fear, I knew that it would pass and that I would be okay, that I would not doubt anymore. I knew that it would pass and that I would be okay and I would not doubt anymore. So that's what was biggest in me, whether that was a remembrance, a trust, or as Holy Spirit is calling it here, a desire. That calling, I'm going to call it a calling, that calling in me to remember truth is bigger than any fear. That calling in me to remember truth is bigger than any fear. So what Holy Spirit is doing is reminding me to get in touch with that calling, that willingness, that desire to awaken, to remember truth. Because Holy Spirit knows that when I'm in touch with that, I'm in touch with my strength. And no fear can stop me. No fear at all can stop me when I'm in touch with my strength. So that's exactly what Holy Spirit's doing here in just a couple of sentences and a couple of questions. Holy Spirit is putting me in touch with my strength because that's what's going to pull me through the doubt. So again, Holy Spirit said, first, I would ask you to remember what you want. You are the Son of God. What do you want? Is it the experience of separation? Or is it the remembrance and knowledge of truth? So I came back with a but, and I'm always, whenever I see the word but, I'm always remembering an article I saw in a Pathways of Light magazine once. The title of the article was, Ego Has a Big Butt. Ego has a big butt. So I'm coming back with ego. I'm answering Holy Spirit with ego, and I start with a but. But, I say, in times of strong doubt, we doubt that there is a reality beyond our current experience. And you can see this is that huge fear I described to you all, the fear that brought me to my knees. We doubt that there is a reality beyond our current experience. We may want it, but we doubt it. And that frightens us. And I'm kind of curious again who the us was here, because I didn't usually use that language at that time. And I know I'm speaking about my greatest fear, so it's interesting language. Maybe it was just easier for me to write with the us instead of the me, I don't know. But notice I'm really describing how much this fear frightens me. Even my greatest strength, which is my willingness or my desire to awaken, I'm afraid that even that is not enough to help me with this fear. Because this fear says that my willingness is foolishness. That my desire to remember my reality is insanity. Because only the world is real. And to want something else is stupid. And so if my mind is in that place, which is clearly ego's grip on me, how can my desire help me, I'm saying? How can my desire help me when I'm thinking that that which I desire is only fantasy? I'm telling Holy Spirit, this is the fear that can even kill my desire. Holy Spirit says, if you choose to listen to doubt, you are making a choice. If you want remembrance of truth, you will choose to transcend doubt. And you will transcend doubt and return to trust because you want to. So, although I don't appear to be arguing in truth, I'm arguing with Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit is saying, depend on your strength to help you through this doubt. And I'm saying my strength is not strong enough. And Holy Spirit is saying, no, your strength is strong enough. Holy Spirit's not buying that story, that my strength is not strong enough, because Holy Spirit knows that's not true. Holy Spirit says, if you choose to listen to doubt, you made a choice to listen to doubt. He's saying you're so strong that whatever you choose you will follow. It's because you chose it. It's not because you were a victim of it. It's not because you were too weak to resist it. It's because you chose to listen to it. And that strength cannot be beaten by anything. So see, the Holy Spirit is in no way confirming my imagined weakness. He says, if you choose to listen to doubt, you are making a choice. If you want remembrance of truth, you will choose to transcend doubt. And you will transcend doubt and return to trust because you want to. He's literally saying you are strong. You are strength itself. He continues, do not underestimate the desire of the Son of God. It was the Son of God's desire to be separate that made this world. So it is his desire to let this experience go and return home that will lead him in that direction. Again, he's saying, look how strong you are. It was your desire to have this experience that created the world. And if now you want to leave a deluded state of mind and return to the knowledge of truth, it's your desire, the one that made the world, that will lead you back. Look at how strong you are. He continues, when doubt is upon you, remember what you want. Hold on to it, just as a child holds onto a security blanket. Your desire is much more powerful than you imagine. It will pull you through any amount of fear. And then he continues, also, when doubt is upon you, imagine it as a cloud that must pass by. Rest with your remembrance of light and your desire for light until the cloud has passed. This is funny to me now because, I haven't read this message since January of 2006. And of course now, as Paul Harvey would say, I know the rest of the story. So I know that like a year and a quarter later, in April, 2 years and a quarter later, right? In April of 2008, I know I took the advice that's in this paragraph. I know that it was in April of 2008 that I rested. Like I said, I literally laid here on the love seat with my tongue hanging out for a week. But that's exactly what I did. I rested through that fear, and I just let it come up and consume me and leave. In other words, it didn't really consume me, but it felt that way. And I told you that as I laid there, remember what I told you? I knew that it would pass and that I would be okay. Remember? So I took the advice of this paragraph 2 years and a quarter later. So I'm going to start the paragraph over. Also, when doubt is upon you, imagine it as a cloud that must pass by. Rest with your remembrance of light and your desire for light until the cloud has passed. Know that the cloud must pass, for anything that is not of truth cannot last. Its passing is evidence of its own reality. And right now I just want to tell you that I'm feeling a wave of gratitude, because I told you that I have not suffered with this fear since I spent that week on the love seat. And Holy Spirit says its passing is evidence of its unreality. And then Holy Spirit says, and then notice what did not pass, what you kept with you, even in the darkest moments within the cloud. And this is true too, guys. I'm just feeling a ton of gratitude now. Notice what did not pass, what you kept with you, even in the darkest moments within the cloud. It was your desire for God, for love, for oneness, for peace, for joy, and for truth. Excuse me, I think I might cry. Having now experienced this is just so beautiful to me. He says, so that must be what is real, because that is what did last and did not pass away. And since that desire is within you, it must be that the remembrance of truth is within you too. For it was your remembrance that fueled your desire to remember. Remember I said I wasn't quite sure what got me through the week, whether it was my trust or my remembrance. Well, here's the answer right here. He says it was actually remembrance. Not full remembrance that we would call awakening, enlightenment. But that which held me through the week was a remembrance. It was a knowing, and I described it as a knowing. It was a knowing, not a hoping. It wasn't a hoping. It was a knowing that this would pass and I would be okay. It was my remembrance that got me through that week of looking at the full force of doubt so that I could let it go.